point is going to help you with pushing the wave here, so Odo can push early, and then Azir is definitely going to push early into the Akali. So Rogue are setting themselves up with 2 pushing lanes and a Malrong on Jarvan. Definitely going to be some early action here for Rogue then.
Pioshik is going to have to try to keep up with Malrang, shadowing him around the map. Because if you fall behind with a DRX composition early to the point where you can't use your skirmishing power, or you're not able to actually utilize the pressure that you'll have in the bot side of the map, I think it's very, very hard. As much as I love both the shenanigans that we're having on opposite side here, I do think that when it comes to actually playing out, the DRX comp is very, very far away from ease of execution to what Rogue has. Because in the worst case scenario, can always fall back to team fight.
And I want to see this support Heimerdinger where all the hype was coming from. It has popped off in some Champions Queue games, but really it has been at people, you know, face-checking it and getting those big explosions. With the control of having Hawkshot with the Heimerdinger, the extra vision advantage I feel like will be massive. Constantly getting pushed there with turrets on bottom side, volley spam out, and then Hawkshot to track Malrong. I think a lot of this is on Def to help out Pioshik. Constant Hawkshots over to at least eliminate possible areas where he could be. And then you can, by process of elimination, pick out where he's going.
Of course, to the side is going to be E-Spam. It's a Spell Thief start. It's Comet for the Nasus.
Yep.
Expected here, right? Like you're doing Emax Wither. It's a 1-point wonder Q for the champion, but it is going to be decent poke, right? There's not a lot of sustain on the DRX bottom lane. Heimer's regen got cut pretty heavily. It's not nearly as absurd as it used to be in years past, and we are on to the Rift. Now, those score lines are back with DRX at 2-1, Rogue 4-0. There has never been an undefeated LEC team at the end of groups. Rogue hoping to make it a 6-0 run.
And overall, do again want to highlight Malrang. I think going to have a lot of opportunity here to find those early moments and get a lot of his lanes ahead.
Yeah. Prime Gaming is giving away 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter and make sure to put in today's secret code to get bonus entries, primegamingworlds22.com.
And there it is once again. The control ward from Malrang starts with Potion Control Ward, wards the Tri-Brush, or the Pixel Brush here in the river on bottom side to allow them this lane to play through. He's going to start red, move on down there, look for the early gank. If you can gank the Heimerdinger Ashe early, stop that just onslaught of constant volley and turret spam and constant pushing, then you can stop them before they even get started on your bottom lane.
Because I do want to highlight that the Rogue composition, we talked about DRX being tough. For Rogue, if the comp falls behind, magic itemization, or magic resist itemization rather, becomes incredibly valuable. Their main source of AD damage will be just the Kalista, who into all the short-range threat that's available for DRX might have a tough time later in the game.
Your eyes on Malrang over there. Okay, control ward through the Pixel Brush in the river, goes red, skips the Raptors that have the ward on them from DRX. So DRX know with that Raptor ward that he has not taken the Raptors, and they're question mark pinging now. Did he start this red? They didn't see the camp pull.
Oh, Malrang has a path available if he wants to go and flag and drag over the wall into the brush.
Yep. The ward pretty far up in the river to try and see him if he walked through. So if you EQ over, could stay in that fog of war.
Red Bull's Gromp is going to be level 3, so he can try for the play, but not just yet. Pioshik, after a full left side, clears on the bottom side, but looks like he's not cutting any camps to be covering any time early. It is, looks like Jarvan finishing his 4th camp and pathing back to top side. Looks like he does not see any angle to gank this one and is pathing away.
E-spam from Trimby, trying to hit. Does get a little bit of Comet poke damage as well. And Malrang gonna bounce back to the top side. Odo Omne building a big wave up there on Rumble. Pushing it into the turret, will reset, no problem for himself. See what they can do with top pressure. Again, top and mid lane for sure pushing here for Rogue. Once again with the Jarvan. Crosses back to get top side Scuttle Crab. Much more difficult on the bottom side though. Those Heimer turrets and volley spam, inevitable.
Are seeing some of the difficulties here, as you'd expect. Zeka, we've seen this matchup play out a ton. The Azir, as Larson is showcasing excellently here, always going to have a very good time into the Akali. Akali really, after the sustain nerfs that came through throughout the mid of the season, much tougher time, but overall, looks like the early pathing from either jungler hasn't responded or hasn't resulted in any action yet.
Yeah, and Zeka trying to hold the potion as long as he can, get the most out of his shield there. Now pops the potion as we have a wraparound.
Yeah, and Larson out of mana entirely, cannot fight back really anymore, but Malrung written around, Zeka 200 HP. It's like EQ flash the knockup, but it's not any damage, so Zeka's not really an initial threat because Larson can't really get much there. There's the EQ, yeah, a shield. I think, again, even a flash wouldn't have killed 200 HP.
Yeah, looking for a little bit of a bluff there.
Oh!
Good damage though onto Trimby. Halo Blades, Ash, decent damage. Volley won't land, but the poke is working. Now Barrel is low, so the health bar lead is pretty heavily with DRX. And
Look
Malrung
at the coverage! Pyosik and Malrung!
Pyosik doesn't see him, Malrung doesn't see him either. Now it's information on DRX's side.
Wave's too big, Wave's also too big.
Yeah, health bar's too low. Early damage gonna come through here.
Poke lands again, turret shot's not taken.
And this is the dream scenario for these support Heimerdinger games here, where you get to constantly push. And I just think it's so intelligent to pair it with the Ashe because of the hawk shot that we're talking about. Keep track of the enemy jungler, make sure you don't get ganked early on, so you can just spam the volleys and constant harassment.
There's no summon to heal in this lane, so Trimby doesn't have any X factor for surviving this one. The Rockets, if it happened to land or made him slightly better, could have made a flash forced out of comp.
I'm happy that after I got my Karthus game, you finally get your support Heimerdinger game.
Yeah,
and you
I
get
got
to talk about it.
We count the one with Cloud9, but really we want to see a W.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. That one I had erased from my memory. That's on me.
Yep. Well, more damage on Larson here as Zeka chose, do I want boots? He went Merc Trays. He's like, nah, Sork Shoes? Nah, actually goes to the Alternator. Bit better poke damage there, puts it on cooldown, but the Q auto trades look pretty decent. The health can help for the all-ins there as well.
Yeah, and Pyosik running a build that was very good when the item was overstated.
Yeah.
Not nearly as impressive as Zeka. Gonna go back, and
Pretty good.
it's still not bad. I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you have any thoughts, I'd be happy to hear.
So it's really, really gold division. Like in the case of Morellis, you're like kind of paying for the stats you're getting. In the case of Futurefire, it's actually just the best source of AD and haste you can kind of get, and health is early in the game. And early game, all you need is raw stats. So it does suit the champion quite well. It's actually well supported as a good first item for champions like Vi and Hecarim.
Okay, I'm convinced. Thank you, Freak.
It is among the good options.
Is it your favorite?
I mean, I'm partial to Triforce in kind of all cases.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Feisty as Pyosik.
Yeah. Everyone's a jungler, everyone builds Triforce. Pyosik will walk back, does not get spotted by anything.
Yeah, already used Q to get over the back of that Dragon Pit into the Tri-Brush, so no further threat from him. Go back to farming over here. The Rogue bottom lane gets to finally push back out.
Not a ton of damage to the scoop, though, huge! Able to ult back out as Zeka. 200 HP left, basically ult for ult, clears the wave, walks out. Odo actually is roamed down, and there were missing pings already. And this recall could be stopped by Nikolaz if he wants to, just to waste more time.
Yeah, a little bit off on some timing here for the setup for Rogue. Odo not quite there to lend the extra damage. Nicely avoided by Zeka. He gets out, doesn't have to burn his flash. It's just a ult for ult trade. Here's our hawk shots though. See if they want to cross over all the red camps. Process of eliminate, there he is. Keep track of that Jarvan. Malrung going to pick up his red.
Always feels very unfun as a jungler, especially someone as creative as Malrung has been able to find so many unexpected angles to get tracked as, ooh, Kingan might be in some trouble here. Pyosik is in the area, but not very nearby.
And the big combo you're looking for is when you get Jarvan to level 6 and you get the spicy hot pot combo with the Cataclysm. Malrung not quite there.
About 50 seconds away. How much
There's
time
like a
can you buy?
6.
Flag and Drag not going to find a knock-up. And that means there's not a whole lot they can do here. It's going to get the pullback. Q2 is going to land. And he straight up fights them. 1 versus 2. Ulti pop, sure, but now Vi winning the wings. Might have been on a ward. Might have cleared it all the same. In fact, has done so, but it's still on vision. They know Pyosic's here. Sweeper is going to spot him. There's no fight.
It's pretty big for Aatrox burn ultimate too, and Malrung and Odo Wanme both saving theirs, so pretty big discrepancy in power now. I don't know about leashing this Herald. They're going to do it though. Both bottom lanes staying bottom.
Yeah, sometime for mid though. Azir still coming out of his base. As the W doesn't land much more, they still get the eye on this one. Ulti difference definitely going to matter here. Zeka is here first, but again, after this wave, Larssen can show that might be enough time to play it. Queuing from the Fog of War, they can go for the play on Odo. He shorts the flash. It's a miss out of the jungle, and there's the spicy hot pot. A smite for health. The iPods King gets it, and Malrong's left alone. Despite the missed flash, it's still a 2 for 0.
And this is where you see the skirmishing power of DRX. And they are able to take down Odo and Malrong before Larssen has the opportunity to respond, and it's thanks to that roam from Zeka.
Exactly. Zeka gets there first, has the impact. Akali ultimate used. DRX, okay, now he doesn't have ultimate to get back out. Here, does get swept into the turret.
That small window of Larssen recalling, walking back to base, Zeka being there first, they pull the trigger on the 2v3, and even though there's no damage from the Vault Breaker, it's enough burst to win the fight.
Zeka, Zeka, Zeka. That's why we highlight him coming into this game.
Oh, Malrong. Sums are available, but
He's no ult. I don't know if you can get
Yeah.
with this one. You can like get into range. Deft's a bit low on mana, to be fair.
And this game will become very difficult for Rogue with a fed Akali. Zeka was not only able to get one of the last hits and the assist on the other kill, but also picked up the eyeball there. Can get isolated turret plate money for the activation.
Yeah, fourth with by the Malrong. It's always a chance. He didn't have smite up, so it's like, hey, maybe get the steal. Zeka, of course, in full vision, wants to kill Larssen. Nearly would have killed a Shuriken Flip. Wouldn't have quite been lethal damage, but would have been a threat for sure. He's wearing a red buff, so aggressive trades work for him. Gets okay amounts of extra regen while out of combat. It really ramps up with levels.
also want to highlight again that it's very tough for Rogue if their bot lane isn't able to get a lead, because the itemization later in the game becomes so easy as, unfortunately, Pioshik not quite up to the task here, doesn't land the combo.
Yeah, but also then they don't get the combo on the side of Rogue that they're looking for. And after the flash, right back in there. And Zeka being the one to the fight means it's a 2v3, okay, with an Akali. And he picks up, as we said, the Rift Herald. Zeka is now the richest person in the game after that play.
No, good job by DRX. I like the play. They went for it. Even with King and having no ulti, they had 20 seconds of mid priority and turned it into an objective and about 1,000 gold worth of kills. So you can see a 2,500 gold lead for DRX with a Herald meaning 300 more soon.
And he's got ultimate flash and proto belt done already at 11 minutes here for Zeka. Rogue, big task is going to be tracking him so that they don't fall further behind on one of those side lane roads. You can already tell bottom lane very worried here. Really good ward coverage by DRX through the river here, setting up for the dragon pull.
And I want to highlight as well that actually locking down the Kali, especially one that's been playing as well as Zeka, without point-and-click CC is very tough. The Maokai, to me, was the big difference maker last time around these two teams played. As Deft tries to either force a cleanse, or at the very least something, isn't able to get it. But this time around, that champion doesn't really exist. So outside of Exhaust, I expect Zeka to have a lot of free range in how he moves around these fights, and will be very tough for Rogue to deal with.
Quick mechanical thing, by the way. If you throw your stun out, you can press Q fast enough that it will be on the ground and get the max energy from landing your stun. Barrel was slightly late on his EQ combo, but you can get it to shoot a laser out with timer support, so that's actually part of the combo. You're looking now at fighting the bottom side. Kalista gonna throw in, and they're gonna find the dunk on the back side. It's gonna be a lot of damage. Malrong,
Wait.
turret low. The turrets mean a lot. They trade back Deft, and now Barrel is on the run. His turret's still helping, but they still got a lot of damage by Kalista. Here are the reinforcements of Kingen. Shows up, TPing to the turret to walk with his ulti. And forces the flash out of Trimpy. And now Pioshik and Zeka are on the way.
More.
Vi can Q ult and maybe catch someone. Under the tower, he might die for it. Cannot find his man.
Yeah, that would be so deep. And look at the top side. They're getting a push back for Odo Omne, so there is a price to Kingen coming down. In the end, they get the trade on the kills, but no chase down there. And that's going to mean some extra turret plate money. Kingen gets some for himself as well, though, hard pushing on bottom.
Now we see the lane swap coming through, and this is the threat of Heimer support. If you're not able to get the 100 to 0, Deft flashing away initially. If you stand into those turrets for just a little bit of time, you're going to go down. It's Deft.
Equalizer, Deft's getting dove, and Odo knocks him down. The assist goes back over, though, as Zeka TP's in for more. A 1-for-1, the wave not even really denied.
Oh, they're just feeding Akali even more. Zeka just in time
Malrong?
to take that kill.
Malrong?
He's got his smite, he's gonna claim it, no problem. He's taking enough to deal with his poor Heimerdinger, but Pioshik is around, and that's gonna be an ulti. That's gonna be the kill.
Whoa!
Becca, Barrel gets to kill with his little turrets.
Yeah, Pioshek able to get the Q and flash this time around to land and hit on Malrung. Bit of a spectator bug there with the lag. Meanwhile, Beryl right back out here, and since he was able to get the tick on the kill, he gets the blue buff. Heimerdinger blue buff here, coming from support with the Sorcerer's Shoes is really start to hurt.
Do you think they chose actually the damage-oriented version instead of going for cooldown boots, like, you know, more stuns, more CC, right? The ult's back up a bit sooner, things like that. But he's going for burst. He's trying to kill him.
And what it means is because DRX get to play this game from ahead, the map control is going to allow them to have these devastating Heimer turret brush set up all over. And since he has gotten the damage, burst here, if you walk in, you get comboed. Grenade on top of your head, all the turrets get their charged up shots.
Yep. Oh, wow, big damage. And Calm just pulled right back in. Didn't have a flash, didn't have a prayer.
And that's with the clans also being used. And I think we're really also seeing the experience from Barrow and Heimerdinger. And as you pointed out, also walking into or near a brush where there could be a Heimer waiting. And the issue now for Rogue is that even though I think their composition has still a lot of great scaling elements, as Deft just gets killed here, as sometimes happens to Deft. We've seen this domestically as well, but I think you'll still take it as a trade overall.
Oh, he's super happy because Odo flashed for that kill as well, and Akali ends up getting it. So it's an unassisted kill for Rogue, for Odo, and then the assisted kill for DRX, plus it allows them to get the collapse onto Malrung and get the extra kill for Beryl. They've got another AP carry on their team, my friend.
That's by Beryl. You aim W very close to your champion, fans out like it's Volley and Comet, or your Spell Thieves will tell you someone's in the brush, so Beryl doing some nice plays to make sure you can check brush from far away. It's going to be safe to walk forward. Trimby, keep in mind this is a very squishy Nasus that is an underfed AP Nasus functionally. Could be an easy target. Of course, he's got a Callista in the back pocket, so he's always going to be safe. But that is his only safety right now.
I think Rogue for sure, just give this up. You do not want to fight it now. You've got yourselves in such a big hole. DRX are blowing this early game up. They are not going to let Rogue walk into the first place spot of this group. They're going to try and push them to some tiebreakers.
And what I think you're hoping for here is Rogue is maybe a less relevant Drake. Looks like DRX, surely with the gold lead they have right now, should be able to claim themselves the upcoming objective as long as they move towards that half of the map. But then if it ends up being a Mountain Drake, or I personally love Cloud Drakes. I know this is not always, not everyone resonates with it. I'm personally, as an LCK commentator, I don't have a fan, or a choice rather to be a fan, because we get a lot of them. It's a statistic anomaly.
Why is the best region? You get a bunch of cloud.
Aw, thank you.
Well, I think no matter what it is, the LCK team is going to get it, though. That's the beauty of having this bottom lane with so much map control. When you've got a Ashe Heimer support bottom lane, having such a successful early game, your Hawkshot first, take out all the vision, set up turrets there so they can't face check you, they can't walk into the objective. DRX can just take mid turret first, then rotate on back towards that dragon, and it gets even more annoying. The Rylai's is completed, so the slows here from Beryl are going to provide so much setup for the rest of his team.
It's really obnoxious for Rogue to deal with because, as we pointed out, someone like Comp, when you're playing a Callista from behind and you have a limited amount of range, you're playing into Rylai's, Heimerdinger, and Ashe. Just one of those will be annoying. Both basically makes it very hard for you to play the game. I would love to see DRX index even more heavily into stacking Amar, because already we see Kingen going for what I assume will be a Maw of Momortia second. Same for Pioshik, because so much value is gotten, and for Rogue, actually trying to win fights when your bot lane isn't doing a lot of the enemies itemizing his barrel.
Yoga stoves upon, but gets the flash out. Now, the cooldown change, obviously much better for Rogue. It's about 2 minutes apiece. It's 5 for Beryl's Heimerdinger, so next time around he won't survive it.
Yeah, usually we'll see the Heimerdinger supports next go for stopwatch and turn that into a Zhonya's once they can. So you have multiple out buttons for engages like that. When your flash is down, try and make use of the immunity. So we'll see if he goes for that extra safety route now that he's got the slow with the Rylai's.
Yeah, a lot of the value of the Rylai's, by the way, for those who don't play the Heimerdinger, is even the turret auto attacks count as full-on spells, so you get full Rylai's triggering with it. So you just like chain slow pretty much the entire squad. Works very, very well, and indeed Beryl is off to a pretty standard Heimer support page.
Yeah, and that's why the Zhonya's is such a good follow-up, because during your immunity, turrets get to keep shooting, keep applying peel for the rest of your team. Yep.
And overall, yeah, I think we're seeing DRX really snowball the early game, and it ends up being a Mountain Drake, which I think for Rogue is basically the worst case scenario, as you pointed out. DRX probably going to get it regardless, but in terms of finding yourself into a comeback, I think with Rogue's composition, it often comes down to a big wombo combo, giving more time to DRX to get out of any of those combos, to stack more resistances, makes it very, very tough for Rogue to find an entryway back into this game, and they need a good one, because the state right now is not great.
Yeah, I mean, just listen to how quiet it is in here now. DRX very quickly put a stop.
I'm sure there's plenty of DRX fans, Kobe. Okay, well, I was gambling with that one.
We got up to do.
Baka fans?
Where's the Deft lovers? There they are.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, though, when you stomp the early game this hard, it leads to these calm, intersections that you're very used to in LCK.
I am in my comfort zone right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, though, right, the Rogue fans, the top esports fans, and the GAM fans are all cheering Rogue on.
They all
of those fan bases actually are hoping that Rogue takes it. GAM are eliminated with a DRX win. TES's best chances are with a Rogue win.
But it's Deft.
I love Deft. He's a great player, one of my favorite AD carries of all time. I am happy to see this happen. I'm
All right, look at this defense on the red buff here as they're trying to keep any sort of vision. DRX doing such a good job leveraging their advantage, strangling out this team. Now you've got no vision to work with, no map to work with. Your jungle camps are forfeit.
And DRX, in my opinion, are one of the most classic LCK teams, where you've seen teams like T1 obviously go for very hard, aggressive skill checks early on. We've seen Damwon also opt into skirmishes and trying to snowball leads very aggressive. DRX, they take their time.
Yeah, and it's so difficult from Rogue's side to be able to face check any of this stuff. We talked about the devastation that a Heimerdinger support will lay on you if you try and face check into their jungle.
Arrow lands in the Malrong. They can try to just burst out, a stopwatch, buy some time. He can flash, he can flag and drag, and they know all they're going to get is the stopwatch itself. Now he is incredibly far from Zone as RGE. That'll get sold. But that is now 600 gold basically deleted from Rogue's inventory.
Yeah, they can be very patient with it. DRX, continue to
they will be. Don't you worry.
They can just keep on fishing for these picks with the Ash Arrow. They also have a pretty easy time of actually starting up that Baron. If they want to call over to the other side of the map with the Heimer turrets, does make it pretty simple, but they can just continue to get every resource off the map. They took red buff, switch over to the bottom side, Kingen pushes in, and they take away blue buff as well.
I'm happy I get to cast an LCK game. I've had so much action throughout the rest of the day. Everyone's fighting all the time. Sometimes
horrible League of Legends.
Sometimes, well, absolutely. Sometimes you just want to take it slow. You want to take it easy.
Yeah.
Talk about what you've been up to.
Everyone
how your
hated that game
co-casters are doing. The second game.
Oh, yeah. Game 2 was an atrocity. The Nexus Rush?
It was okay.
That's not the kind of league I want to see.
Yeah,
I want
keeping that
I want
dreams
20
alive.
minutes of ward control. Let's hear it for ward control. That was a bait. That was a bait. You're supposed to boo me. Boo. I got you. Boo.
Boo. No, I love
this. Thank you.
I'm having a great time. We just slowly get to watch this game.
You know why I'm having a great time?
Tell me.
Spending time with you two.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome.
He always hits you with the unexpected, wholesome moment right before the trap closes.
That's what I was saying. Is like, am I being lulled into a false sense of security?
This is just textbook though from DRX. The map control that they lock out Rogue with.
Might still out of the ultimate. Second would die for it. Barrel just on the wide side of the ult W. Dragon's gonna be killed.
The iron grip, they keep up their control wards. Barrel says, this is my jungle. He plants the flag over here in Jarvan's jungle and says, no, this is now Heimerdinger territory. Yep. You are not allowed in. Constantly sweeping out these wards. They are not left alive for more than but a moment.
I like Larson's build, though. Larson is basically building in order to be as powerful as he can for the Mountain Soul fight. I don't think there's a world where you get to 3 items, so Death Cap is your best second item in a world where you have to fight at 27 minutes. It is really, really strong for that one. They're going to try now for the bot side play. A flash out for Odo, and he's going to try to live as long as he can, but that's not very long. TP comes in for Larson, but the aggro's already dropped. Pioshik very tanky under that turret.
Surgical removal here. DRX. They close them out, turn off the lights. Rogue have no vision. They pick off the side lanes and then move in for more damage.
And this DRX come from ahead might be one of the most obnoxious comps to play into. You have Hawkshot, you have turrets, you have picks like Akali and Aatrox, upon which collapsing is very, very tough, especially if you are behind, and they have itemized accordingly. So as Rogue, you're basically waiting for DRX to overstep in the side lane, go too hard in on an objective, or maybe try and catch someone off guard in the jungle, and then find a counter engage.
Odo had gone for some flat armor, right? Went for the arm guard itself, not the zonies, but the arm guard, and then into as much damage as possible. Rumble actually has pretty weak AP ratio since so much of the damage is the ultimate. So doing a pen stacking build is your best way to get damage out of a Rumble. But it doesn't mean it's actually quite squishy, right? He didn't actually finish his Zonias. He didn't have a stopwatch inventory. So that dive worked out well. That surgical removal, and we know the time is ticking down. We know we're 3 minutes, 20 seconds away from Mountain Soul. That's going to block so much of Rogue's initial engage. Barrel. 20 CS. You go.
Get it, baby.
Good for him.
Oh, he missed both! He missed both caster minions.
Boo.
Classic support over here.
Boo for Barrel.
It's okay. He's got
Don't
the
boo Barrel. He's great.
He's got the jungle control though, trying to get both sides. See if he can fight with death for a little bit.
W that cannon. I don't see a 21.
Another hawk shot.
Here we go though. The window during the recall of Barrel was utilized effectively by Rogue to get vision back on their red side. Here's another engage.
If the rocket lands, and they're gonna kill him right away. And barely has a second to ulti down, but Equalizer does nothing of the sort.
I haven't even talked about this, but Deft also going for a build which not only spikes very hard on 2 items, but also gets the build Wit's End into the Rogue composition. And it's slow, it's steady, but they're getting the job done.
Oh, they are laying a waste to Rogue here.
Well, I think that's too aggressive of terminology.
They cracked the inhibitor towards 25.
Well, yeah, but they're doing it at a leisurely pace.
Okay.
Okay.
You gotta pace it down.
I mean,
take it easy.
I'm of 2 minds.
Vi's ult is like, when Pioshik's ult is up, the kill is had.
Yeah.
Pioshik ult up, Rogue member down, basically, has been the steps.
Well, we move forward here. You can see that gold lead.
Yep.
Leisurely up and to the right. This is a nice stroll up the hill. You know, there's no rock climbing going on here. Q's over the wall, and he's like, yo, dog.
Odoamne tries to push him off, but then you see mid lane pushing in for DRX, and they've got the window. All he needs is Barrel's follow-up. Support Heimerdinger, baby, making it look beautiful this game. Pairing it with the Ashe, such a nice choice there from Deft.
Well, and what I love,
recently.
what I love as well is that they might try look for a play on Zeka here, but Kali is so
They've got
slippery.
4 members. They're going to send
Flash
everybody
available.
up there.
Callista will throw him in. They know they can wither afterwards. The E will reveal him under the shroud now as well. Will there be a play? TV's coming in for everyone else. Is it enough? The King on the front line wants to kill Larson. He's supposed to flash away. Roll by some time. King is pretty tanky, but he will get shut down. In goes Zeka, but can't kill Malrong just yet. Pioshi will go, and he finds it. Zeka. Oh! Stopwatch was perfect. He immunes Larson's disengage and just kills him for it.
Overall, it's a pretty big win for Rogue, as long as they can get out of here. Zeka does a teleport available. Teleport is cancelled. Trimby goes in.
Flash, Wither, E is there. They're going to try for the rest. The stun, point blank arrow. Cobb's cleanse is 7 years too late. Private Jack dies, and it's a double kill for Zeka.
And DRX finally have cleaned the map. Now there are no Rogue members in front of them. They can push it out.
Look at my alpaca go! Good for you! And overall, there you see exactly the problem with the Rogue composition when it's behind. Even when everyone funnels into Deft and tries to take him down, he still had stopwatch.
They send everybody, and they throw the kitchen sink at Zeka over here. 4 members of Rogue immediately. The teleport comes in to peel for him. Keegan tries to buy a lot of time on the front line. Rogue are able to burst him down, even with the extra peel, but then with the shroud into the stopwatch there from Zeka, he's able to find the last move onto Larson after he immunes the ultimate.
And from that point onwards, as Rogue, you have no chance but to try and punish here. But look at Deft's health bar. It's not going down.
Re-engaging into the turret territory there of the Heimerdinger while Ashe still has ultimate. So Barrel peels on the bottom side there with the grenade, and then Deft with the point-blank arrow right in his face.
And the stopwatch get added to the inventory, by the way. Now Deft has one. He's going to be even safer than last time, and he didn't even die. But you got the play already. Hey, guess what? Vio's back up, and this game is all over. Mountain Soul was claimed, the double kill into the bot lane. Baron, if you want it.
Yeah, that's got to be Baron now. DRX supremacy around this red buff jungle. 2 quick kills on the flank.
And it's looking bad, unfortunately, for GAM as well, because the moment that DRX get themselves the win here, which is looking more and more likely, Mountain Soul now picked up Baron in their hands as well, and their siege with Ashe and the Heimerdinger surely going to be incredibly obnoxious. Doesn't look like there's a lot of avenues for Rogue back into this one.
And that does, you know, breed some excitement for the tiebreaker between them if they're able to push it and continue winning towards the end of the day.
So they're brush cannon, but they walked onto a ward to get there.
Yeah, it's not happening.
There is a chance Rogue can be like, yo, 5v2, 2 picks, Trimby should know. Trimby saw them. I think he saw them come in.
It's the fabled support Heimerdinger Death Brush, though. We finally got it. They face check into it, and the full power is unleashed.
Well, ulti's on, a rocket belt for safety, not gonna matter. Arrow's gonna stun him. Stun's gonna combo up. Barrel has his 3rd kill of the game.
And DRX, it's slow, it's surgical, it's methodical, but as Rogue, there is nothing you can do. There are no angles. There is no crazy team fight. You are just getting choked out of this game.
Looking for 30 minutes, the victory here. DRX will improve to 3-1. In doing so, will eliminate Vietnam's GAM Esports from playoff contention and will eliminate them at the bottom of the standings. We'll see if TES can keep up. We'll see if Rogue can still fight for first. There's still many more games to play, but it means DRX can move towards that top of the standings. It means there's more to do here. Still have the fight in the front side. Kingen holding it pretty steadily as the turrets drop. One more dive. A great stopwatch for Zeka. Gets away, and Trimby is going to be too squishy. A solo kill for the mid lane. Ashe in for a double now as well. Stuck onto the fountain. Comp barely lives, but Rogue does not. As the LEC first seed finds their first loss at Worlds, DRX moved to 3-1.
And DRX, in their most DRX, weird drafts, centered around Beryl trying to push his champion pool as far as he can. And more so than any other team, when DRX get a lead, they play it out as slowly, as cleanly as possible. And I gotta say, coming into Worlds, I keep getting surprised by what DRX has shown, because I've seen this team midway through the LCK split, and let me tell you, they didn't look even a little bit like this.
What a fun one, though, overall. Pretty beautiful game. It's fun to see it come out. Unfortunately, Nasus could not play with the lane pressure that Ashe and Heimerdinger had.